When we set out to do Jak 2, we really wanted to improve on the groundwork that we laid with Jak and Daxter 1. We had spent a lot of time developing the technology, which I think was really well received, and we really sort of set a new graphical, visual standard that games are trying to chase. And so now that we have that in place, we're able to focus our efforts on sort of evolving the gameplay and creating a different experience that people haven't really had before.
There was this real question of what we do with Jak 2, because with the original Jak and Daxter we had great technology and a very high level of polish on the game, but there were some doubts as to whether or not we'd really hit the sweet spot as far as the modern video game consumer goes. So the challenge with Jak 2 was then, what can we do on a core gameplay level and a story and characterization level to maybe grab a few consumers we might have missed the first time around?
We really wanted to reach out and get those players, so we sort of stepped it up, and we're making a T-rated game for the first time in Naughty Dog's history since Way of the Warrior. So we're really, I think, upping the content to try to reach those individuals who want a more mature gaming experience.
I am Pecker. Yes, I know. My mother, she was very vindictive.
In the end of Jak 1, we sort of sat back and kind of looked at the clay that we had on the table, and we realized that we had this great universe that we were really kind of enjoying the world of the cursors and the history of all of this universe, and Jak and Stamos and Kira and some of the characters.
In Jak 2, we really wanted to sort of take the next step in the series and not just do a sort of Jak 1.5. We really wanted the sequel to stand out as different from the original.
Jak 2 is much darker. The characters, though they're still very much Naughty Dog characters and quite, well, frankly, strange in their own way, are much more mature characters. And the whole storyline is much darker. Characters don't get along, characters die. I think we lose 5 major characters through the course of the game.
We wanted to make sure that the story really, more than ever before, drove the experiences and the settings and the characters and the motivation of the player as they move through the game.
Jak and Daxter have been thrown into the future of their world, and the small little sleepy fishing village that they grew up in is now turned into this sprawling metropolis, which is 24 times the size of that original village.
And at first they're not even sure why or what they're doing there, but as the story unfolds, you realize that there's a very large connection for Jak and why he is meant to be, basically the fate of the future is basically in his hands.
Jak is out for revenge this time to try to sort of overthrow the Baron of the city that sort of did these evil experiments on him that gave him the dark powers that he now can summon. And so the whole setting and mood and feeling of the game is much more mature and dark.
As we designed the story for this game, we wanted to make narrative be, for what we called basically narrative as reward. We wanted to let the player get rewarded for actually playing certain elements of the game by hearing more about the story and as the mystery of the story unfolds.
In some ways, making levels for Jak 2 has gotten a lot easier. The game is 100% story-driven. And so while in a conventional character action game I might say, what gameplay mechanics do I want to use on this level, that's the easy part. The hard part is that the mechanics are not the traditional action game mechanic.
We've really opened up the opportunity for the player to experience the game the way that they would like to. We've given Jak weapons that he can use at any time. We've given him a jet board which he can take on or off at any time. He can summon these dark powers that will actually transform him and give him invincibility and the ability to take on 10 or 15 enemies at a time.
Constructing a level that has perhaps multiple ways to complete it or fits with all those constraints can be quite difficult.
We've tied together the great action and moment-to-moment gameplay of a Crash Bandicoot-type game, but sort of folded it into a very complex, interwoven story that unfolds in a satisfactory way that will keep the players coming back for more.
The thing that I'm proudest of so far is that even though our goals were primarily to experiment with new gameplay in this, graphically, I think we've raised the bar for Jak 2. It is turning into one of the most beautiful games that I have ever had the pleasure to work on.
I've seen his evil before. He's willing to sacrifice innocent lives just to destroy the underground.
What about the metalheads? There ain't no petting zoo out there. Peeps be getting deep sixed.
Get your squirrely ass out of here.
The demolition duo has returned. You can count on us.
A new legacy begins.
God, I miss pants.